It's time for the Prophecy Pulse podcast, tuning in to heaven's end time signals with your host, Nick Johnston of Never Unprepared Ministries.
Right.
Let's move to chapter 3, and this one's titled Catching a Free Spirit. And you talk about God being a God of order. Anyone who's read through the Bible knows when you're reading Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and he talks about the dimensions of the tabernacle and the details of its construction, we know he's a God of order to the nth detail. It's consistent. Looking at the God of order did not desire subjects who mindlessly recite praises out of fear. He sought true, heartfelt love, people capable of genuinely admiring him and understanding him and marveling at his creation. His desire was not to demand adoration, but to inspire it, inviting a worship that was authentic, unforced, and rooted in awe. I think that's so pivotal to the Christian faith that we understand this. You said further, God established a set of laws within which the universe operates to maintain order, yet for freedom to be real, alternatives must exist, specifically the freedom to break those laws. Herein lies the inherent risk. Order is a precise, harmonious balance, and any alternative to it inevitably leads to disorder. Disorder breeds chaos.
That's right.
When I read through this, I thought, this explains so much. He gave us free will because he didn't want us to just be puppets. But there's an inherent risk in giving free will.
That's right.
And it explains so much about the chaos in this world.
It does. And he had perfection. He said in Genesis,
Yes.
when he created each thing and it was good. He created when he created man and it was good. And so everything was perfect. He had perfection. Why? But he had to allow imperfection to enter in if he's going to give people free will. And he did that by the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. If he hadn't had that there as an option, then all they could do is what he wanted and not what they wanted. He had to give them an alternative, provide an alternative. Now, there's a big debate whether he should have done that or not. Well, if you're going to have free will, there's got to be options. If you give no options, there's no free will.
That's right.
If the only thing you can do is follow this straight line and you have guardrails on both sides that keep you from doing it, that's not free will.
Yeah.
So free will is the whole reason that we are in the situation we are with chaos, but it's also the reason it's coming back at the end. The 7 years is to bring that to fruition, to completion. If they have free will, in fact, at the very end, in Revelation, the very first sentence, I think we'll pull. I've got several Bibles here. Let's see. The very first chapter and verse is, "These are things to come." And that's what people don't realize is they pull things out of Revelation that
Maybe haven't come.
That haven't come, and they think it's applicable now. Well, there's some things you can do that with, but the book of Revelation, it says the revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him to show his servants things which must shortly come to pass. These are things to come. I mean, the famous book by Dwight Pentecost is called Things to Come. He quoted that verse. So Revelation is the future, and in the future, he's bringing this whole time of chaos back to perfection. And all creation's been groaning for that since the time it happened with Adam and Eve
in the garden,
going for that fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which they were told, that's the one thing you can't do. You've got all this beautiful creation. There's one thing off limits. That's the choice. That's the free choice. And they, of course, we know the deceiver knew that and got them to take that choice.
That's right. Well, that brings us to chapter 3, Paradise Lost, the antagonist. You state that God created one of his beings with such perfection that this highest of angels eventually came to believe that he deserved to be equal to or even above God, and through his pride became the antagonist, the alternative to God's perfect plan.
That's right.
That's Satan.
That's right. Through his pride, that's the key. He was created as the highest level of angelic beings. And we'll see that in Ezekiel. Ezekiel kind of tells us what his role was and how he was there at the very top, and he was the covering angel over the altar of God. He had the preeminent position, and in that, because he was so beautiful, it says he was beyond beauty. He was given the gemstones, the same gemstones that are on the New Jerusalem, 9 of the 12. We'll talk about that at some point in the future. So he was up there, and iniquity was found in him. He became full of himself, and so people say, well, why did God create evil? God did not create evil. He created perfection. The mentality of Satan, Lucifer at the time, was that I am almost as good as God. I want to be better than God, and it was found, and he created his idea of selfishness, of pride, of ambition. That was what entered in. That's where
and put him against God.
That's right. That was where iniquity was found, in him. It wasn't created by God. It was found in Satan. He deliberately
manifested it in himself.
Right. He wanted to move beyond God.
You state that even before he created humans, God designed an elaborate plan to bring those future humans who were willing back into fellowship with him. Some parts of this plan were revealed through the prophets, but the full meaning of those prophecies would be hidden until the right time. The time came about 2,000 years ago to reveal a major portion of that plan, which allowed people to rediscover God and provided a way through his Son to be reconciled to him. God's plan still depends on people freely choosing to follow his plan and accept him.
That's right. So there's two parts to this plan. The first part is, let's talk about the first part. The first part was sending his Son to die on the cross as a perfect human, as a sinless human. And that's phase one. Once he basically got beyond or got over on Satan. If Satan had known, it says in Paul says, if the leaders had known what Jesus' role was, what his mission was, they would never have killed him. They didn't know he was here to do that. The fact that he lived a sinless life, completely sinless, and offered himself freely to be sacrificed, he opened the door. He made a way. It says Jesus made the way for us. He told the thief on the cross that today you will be with me in paradise. He went to Sheol, the paradise side of Sheol, and then walked in to Satan's side and took the keys, went back to, and then after 3.5 days went back to earth, and then 40 days later came back to heaven. That was the phase one, making the way. Now phase two is what we've been in, called the church age. That's where everybody's supposed to be proselytizing and reaching others for Christ. And we're in the church age now. But the very end of the church age is this. It's the 7 years. And that's the phase two, the final phase, is when Jesus comes back as the conquering king. And this time he's not as a meek...
riding on a donkey.
No, this time he's on a white horse with a sword. And he's killing with a sword because he has splattered garments. His white garments are splattered with blood. So phase one was sending Jesus as his Son, as the humble servant, sinless, living a sinless life, which it's hard to even imagine how difficult that was, to live a completely sinless life. Because sin is not just actions, it's thoughts.
Yes.
So he had to keep his thoughts captive the whole 30 to 33 years he was on the earth, and live out a sinless life in the midst of persecution the whole time, people doubting him, people trying to kill him sometimes, many times. I just can't imagine how difficult that is.